Today's 602nd day that I'm here to share lessons I learn. I'm learning. I hope this also supports your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today was very interesting because I did something new. I was studying psychology. And why I was studying psychology? Now, I'm in sales now, and at this point, I want you to become the number one or top 1% in sales. So what I need to do, I need to look into people who are top 1%. So Jeremy Miner, Cole Gordon, all those people who are amazing in sales, and I looked into what do they do? What allowed them to become top 1% in sales? And one thing that what they did, and all the people that I looked into, 5 people, they have studied psychology. They were studying human behavior. So I said that if they are doing that, and all those 5 people are really investing their time understanding people, I want to do the same. So today I was investing in introduction in psychology, and of course it was Yale course, and I really enjoyed it. And the biggest thing that I learned was that every single person has 10 defense mechanisms. How they deal with disappointments, how they deal with things that really they don't like. So I will share those 10 things that I learned, and it may be that allow you to understand yourself and what you do, because at the same time you are able to deal with all the things that is coming to your way, healthy way and unhealthy way. So today I will share those 10 things, and after that I will discuss which ones are healthy, which ones are not, and what you're supposed to do with those defense mechanisms. First one is, of course, denial. So when something bad happens, people are in denial. They don't accept that something happened to them. For example, people are having a terminal illness and they do not accept that they are in terminal illness. And of course, that is denial. What denial does is that it doesn't allow you to change. So of course, this is not a healthy way to deal with difficulties. Because when you accept what's going on and going fully in active coping, of course, you're able to improve and get better. Now, second is repression. Repression is similar to denial, but repression is even more difficult because now something very bad happened, and now you repress that thought, repress that mind, repress that memory, and put in subconscious mind, and you do not remember. You black out. It was so bad that idea, that thought, that mind, that memory, that you really repressed it and put it in your mind, but you don't remember. You have no idea what happened because you suppressed it, and of course, because of that, you're not able to fully heal. So that means a lot of times what people do, they do some kind of meditation or where they're able to bring the memories back and really heal from it. Number 3 is projection. So I mean that projection is very interesting because sometimes you don't like somebody, and now you project on that person that he doesn't like that you. So that means a lot of times what you do not like, you or think that you are able to do or not able to do, you project on someone else. So that means this projection. So sometimes when you need to project and you want to project on another person, ask, maybe I feel that, maybe I am insecure, and you think that person is insecure. So that means that its projection is interesting because most time you put on someone else what you already feel. So it's not healthy as well. Number 4 is rationalization. So that means a lot of times people say like, oh, I failed my exam because the exam was bad. Or I failed my exam because my friend was calling all night and asking to go out. I failed. So that means you find rational examples of why you failed, even though it is your fault. So at the same time, it's not healthy to rationalize, but sometimes it could be healthy if you're able to rationalize in a proper way. So that means if you rationalize in a healthy way. So that means it's very important to be able to understand that when you rationalize to defend yourself, to defend your ego, to defend your perfectionism, because you say, oh, I'm always do amazing job in exams, but now you failed, and I was like, no, like this is all the world, all the environment was at fault, but not me. So that means you need to be able to accept the responsibility and move forward. Now, the next one is displacement. So that means that this one is a lot of times with family as well. Like when a father is always shouting and beating his son, what that son do is that he's not able to put his anger back to his father. So he displaces his anger to someone else. So that means that a lot of times those kids become bullies in school because they were bullied at home. So now they are not able to bully back. So that means that they use that anger, they use that bullying they received at home, and they put that bullying to someone in school. So that is displacement. And of course, displacement is an unhealthy way of dealing with emotions. And sometimes other people do not have other option. As I said, they are not able to bully back their parents. But of course, in the future, they need to be able to understand and grow through that. Number 6 is regression. This is interesting because I never thought about it, but a lot of times when people are not getting what they want, they start acting childish. So that means they adults, they already like 20, 30, 40 years old, but they start acting like 12 or 15, and they shouting like a babies or really doing something childish that is not supposed to adult be. So that is regression. It's easy to understand. Now, sublimation, number 7, sublimation. Sublimation is one of the positive ones. I really love it. And what is sublimation? It's a very interesting word. And sublimation means that you're able to use that disappointment, that anger, that everything what you are going through, and use that energy and channel to something meaningful, channel to something that really could make you better. For example, a person who has a huge disappointment in himself, it could be even like there was displacement, was a bad way of using energy and being a bully in the school. Now, if you use sublimation, that means that you have that anger, you have that anger in you. What you do with that anger is that you're going to a gym, you're going to wrestling training, and use that anger to train even harder. So what that does, that a lot of times people who use sublimation in their life, they become extraordinary athletes. Because a lot of times when you look into extraordinary athletes and you ask why they became so obsessive with this sport, because they were able to use their energy from their disappointment, from the things that hurt them, and use that energy and use that sublimation to transform their lives and to become the amazing athletes. So that means every single time when you feel disappointed, I truly believe that you need to think about sublimation, how I could use this energy, how I could use this disappointment for my own benefit, and how I could transfer this energy into something. That's why even there's a lot of great speakers who speak that every single time when you get divorced, when you have disappointment, when something happens, what you need to go to gym, you need to sweat, you need to work hard to improve yourself, read a book, because every time when you have that energy, channel that for the benefit of yours. Number 8 is intellectualization. And this is very interesting. So that means you have a lot of emotions coming through, but then it means that intellectually, and you start to think, okay, what really happened? So take away all the emotions and really put only logic part. So what exactly happened? And what you could change differently, what you could do now without emotions. So when you're able to take away emotions, that is a positive way of dealing with things, because a lot of times when you think about our life is based 95%, 99% of our decisions based is on emotions. So a lot of times people know that they need to exercise, but they don't exercise because their decision is based on emotion that day. In that day, they don't feel exercise again, they don't exercise. But when you take away emotions, that means that if you know that you need to exercise, you will do exercise. Because you know that is a logical thing to do if you want to be healthy. So intellectualization sometimes is a very, very good way of dealing with disappointments. Now, 9 is a reaction formation. And that means that a reaction formation is most times, very, very, very detrimental for you. For example, the one example that I found was that if a person is loving the same sex, so sometimes is moving to homophobic experience because they don't want to deal with anything with that, and they move from totally other angle. So they love it, but they start to hate it, and of course they destroy it. So that reaction formation is one way that finding what you do to really neglect your desires. And number 10 is fantasy. I think from all those defense mechanisms, I used fantasy the most. So that means a lot of times when life is going through stuff, I used to really imagine things, what's possible. And I think that fantasy could be used as a good thing, as a positive, and as a negative thing. Because if you actively coping through stuff and actively doing things necessary to get out of your station, and once in a while you get energy by fantasizing about all the things and visualizing all the things that you want to achieve, that is a good way of dealing with things. But if you fantasize doing bad things and you don't do anything about your current station, fantasy could be very detrimental because now you detach yourself from reality. Reality is that you suffering, but in the fantasy world, you are an amazing person. So now, because you're not doing anything, will be bigger and bigger detachment. But if you do a lot of things and take a lot of action and you fantasize about future, that is good because a lot of times that your current situation is terrible, but you're moving closer and closer and closer to the fantasy. So of course, it could be fantasy, could be good, and could be bad. So what else that really helps to work on defense mechanisms when you think about psychology? Humor, of course, you need to be optimistic, so find a way how you can laugh with your friends, or find an opportunity where you can find the laugh. What makes you laugh? So this is really helpful in regards of defense mechanisms. And number one thing I truly believe is essential in defense is active coping. Active. So what of those, all the 10 that I mentioned, are active? So that means, of course, denial, suppression is, that means that you don't want to do with anything. Projection, you put on someone else. Rationalization is, of course, you blame environment, you're not yourself. Displacement is that, again, putting on someone else, not on yourself, and bullying that energy and channeling in the wrong way. Regression is going back to being a child. Sublation, I think that was the number one thing that I truly believe that is essential to live. So if you want to really defend yourself the best and grow yourself in life, you need to find a way how you're able to channel every single energy, every single disappointment for something good. Because I found that so many people who had the biggest adversity, they won the most. That's a lot of times I said, like, people who have the biggest adversity, they have the most energy to channel to the best things. Because people who are comfortable, they don't have energy to pursue the things. So that means they need to create energy. While people who are going through a lot of adversity, that pain creates so much energy that they're able to go through if they choose to really use that energy for the benefits. Now, people who are comfortable, a lot of times they don't have energy, so they need to work very hard to create an energy, asking, why is that important to me? What is that important for me? Why is that important for me? What is my purpose? And go and find the energy to pursue the things that you want. So this was a very interesting topic, and I think probably I shared it a little bit too much, but at the same time, this was the first time when I looked into psychology, and I know that I will look into them more, so I hope that I will share more about psychological topics, because as I said, success leaves clues, and people who are very successful, they learn psychology. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.